This is Season 2, Episode 4 of the Teal Sports Talk podcast. I'm Evan Brown. That's your host, James Price. Well, we're back again, but I gotta say one thing, and it's not about Toronto sports.
And if you guys know us fairly well and listen to the podcast enough, you'll know that I am a Giants fan. And God help me at some points. But Evan is a Saints fan. And after last year's Minnesota Miracle and all that crazy things and the emotional heartbreak of the Saints last year, this year they were expecting something different. Well, if you guys watch the NFL on the weekend, especially on Sunday, and you will have known what happened to the Saints. And you will know why Evan is here to lay into NFL officials, and just prepare yourself, people.
All right. I'm not the first Saints fan to say what I'm about to say, but it has to be heard again. Or it has to be said again, I should say. For the cornerback number 23, Nicole Robbie Coleman. Drew Brees throws up a pass, maybe a 40-yarder, to Tommy Lee Lewis. In midair, this guy decides to push him in mid-air. I
wouldn't even say push. He clobbered him.
Yeah. Clobbered number 11 on the New Orleans Saints, Tommy Lee Lewis. And guess what? No pass or interference. He wasn't going for the ball. He was going for the player. Mind you, Tommy Lee Lewis wouldn't have even gotten the pass anyways. But for this guy to push him, well, I mean, pretty much clobber him like he said, when the pass is in midair, he had no chance even getting it, right? And that should have been a flag, and the penalty should have been at right there where it happened, so it would have been first and goal.
And okay, all right. And what it would have been, right? Because, like you said, like the ball wasn't even close to him. Robbie Coleman wasn't even looking at the ball. No. He was straightly looking at Tommy Lee Lewis and just laid into him. No holds barred, and like every other NFL, like any NFL fan who tells me that is not a flag is either blind or clearly a Rams fan.
Mind you, well,
even Rams fans probably say it's blatantly obvious.
The player, Nicole Robbie Coleman, even said, "Yeah, that was a flag."
Well, no shit, it was.
Everybody in the arena, everyone watching at home knew it was a flag. So, mind you, the Saints shouldn't have got there in the first place. They were up, 14-0? It doesn't matter. And the referee who didn't throw the flag was from Southern California.
Coincidence?
I think not. I just wanted to get it out there. I know I'm probably the millionth person that was saying this, but it should have been Brees versus Brady in the Super Bowl. And let's go Tom Brady. I want to see him get his sixth.
It is incredible.
Championship. So let's go Patriots and fuck the LA Rams.
We don't usually swear on the podcast, but I think it was necessary.
It was necessary for that. I just quickly wanted to shout out that. I'm sorry, I'm still pissed off. So let's go on. I think we're starting with Leafs first.
Well, do you want to talk about the Patriots and Tom Brady first before we break into anything?
Well, it was a great game on the Sunday.
Tom Brady, if he wins this Super Bowl and wins his 6th, he will have tied
Michael Jordan.
Pittsburgh Steelers for the most Super Bowls in NFL history as a team.
And he would have tied MJ for the most championships won, I think. Actually, no, there's probably some more, but the most well-known.
6 Super Bowls, 9 appearances in 18 seasons. Half of his career has been in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I really would have thought. Now, the one thing people mistakenly do, they count out the Patriots. Never do that, folks.
I've learned that with LeBron James, as a Raptor fan. We can't do that anymore. Watching Tom Brady in overtime, you have a 3-9 catch to Edelman, 3-10 catch to Edelman, another 3-10
to Gronk, wasn't it?
Pass to Gronk, and then it was Sony Michel runs it in for the touchdown to win it.
It was only
watching him have third and longs, 3 of them in a row, and convert on all 3 and win it in OT. I mean, incredible to watch.
He marched down the field in about 30 seconds.
Yeah, it was
in the fourth quarter.
That tells me right there that he is the GOAT. He is the guy. He's the best quarterback in NFL history.
Now, quickly, shouting out Patrick Mahomes in the Chiefs.
Oh, yeah.
He's not eligible for Rookie of the Year.
Right.
But still, great future ahead of the Chiefs. I would have liked to see them a bit more than the Patriots, but It doesn't matter. The Patriots are in against the LA Rams for Super Bowl 53, so I'm going with the Patriots 100%. How about you?
I'd love to see Brady do it again. I look
being a neutral fan.
Being a neutral fan and being a Giants fan, where we've beaten them twice in the Super Bowl already. I mean, watching Brady perform on that type of level, it's incredible.
So
he's like LeBron James. So, you see the regular season, and you don't care what the regular season is. You see this guy in the playoffs, and he's a new animal.
So if my math's correct, he's won 5. He's been to 9. No, he's
been to 9, but he's won 5. Hasn't he?
No, he's been to 8.
Sorry, this is his 9th appearance.
So he's been, because he lost against Nick Foles obviously last year.
And to the Giants twice.
All right. Okay.
That's all I got right
David
now.
Tyree helmet catch. Well, I mean, you have. Who knows if you're going to draft a quarterback in the first round?
Let's not get into this.
Kyle Murray?
Last thing I want to talk about with the Chiefs real quick. That's what happens when you don't have any defense. You lose the coin toss, and then you have to face Tom Brady.
You told me on the phone, oh, well, the defensive line's pretty good.
Well, I mean, look, man, their safeties are terrible then.
Yeah, because they lost Marcus Peters and Revis.
Oh, well.
Oh, wow.
I mean, when you got no defense, it's hard to win an overtime game where you're trying to beat Tom Brady.
And it's pretty hard to win a playoff game when you have Andy Reid coaching.
That is very true. They found a way to do it against
the Colts.
The Colts, yeah. Anyways, good for
Let's
them.
just move past that.
Anyways, let's get to the leagues. Let's get to the topics at hand. We quickly wanted to talk football. You needed to rant and all that stuff. We're going to talk hockey. We're going to talk the Leafs. Now, we're going to get to Peter Chiarelli in a little bit, guys, so just in case you guys were wondering about all that kind of stuff. We'll talk about his moves that he made as a GM.
Kastainen?
That baffled me. We'll get to that in a little bit.
Yes, we will.
We're going to start off with the Leafs, and this team has been struggling lately. They have won 1 game in their last 4. Still, they've not lost 3 straight games this year, which is kind of shocking. But again, when you're 1-4 in your last 5 games, it doesn't really matter if you lost 3 in a row or not. And the 1 game that they won in those last 5 was in Tampa. Yeah. What?
And we look dominant.
I got a bone to pick with Leaf fans.
Okay. Before you move into that, let's review the games, right? Let's review the games because I know where you're going.
The Tampa game was the first game, right?
Correct. And that was on the Thursday. Or no,
was it the Thursday?
Yeah, Thursday, and then we played Florida Friday.
Right, Thursday, Friday, we didn't play Saturday.
So winning in Tampa Bay, which because
the reason Leafs won that game was Frederik Andersen.
Yes, and the team looked good.
They looked good until the last 3 minutes of the game when they had an empty net, and then Freddie Andersen had I think they did the math. It was 8 shots in a minute and a half.
Jake Gardner and Kadri looked great.
So you just said that. Can I please get into it now?
Yeah,
you just mentioned his name. Ladies and gentlemen, Jake Gardner was booed, obviously. We all know. We talked about it on the podcast last week. And I thought it was ridiculous. I said it in my video, and I said it on here, that booing Jake Gardner in your home building when he's on your team and you want to win a championship and this team is second place in the division, and you boo Jake Gardner. I mean, yes, was it a terrible play? Yeah. But a lot of players have been bad lately. You find a way to boo him? Ridiculous. You go into Tampa. We know it's going to be a tough game. Jake Gardner gets booed by Leaf fans down in Tampa. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
You sure it wasn't Tampa fans? Well, then again, why would Tampa fans boo?
Why would they boo him?
Yes, and
it is ridiculous. It is sickening, and it makes me embarrassed as a Leaf fan right now to watch that kind of stuff.
Now, I have something to say about that.
Can I just finish it off real quick? I'm just going to be a second.
It's about Jake Gardner.
I know. I'm just going to say that he played in Florida. The team didn't show up in Florida, but he played. And last game, at home, Jake Gardner is sitting because of quote-unquote back spasms. His first game at home since getting booed. Is it really back spasms?
Yeah.
Is it?
I think so. I mean, you wouldn't not play a game just because you're nervous about if you're going to get booed or not.
Well, I don't know if it's for nerves. It might just because for his mental state.
No. You have to be mentally strong, and Jake Gardner is mentally strong.
Jake Gardner has not been injured the last year and a bit.
Okay.
Why the home game after he just got booed at home, he is sitting?
Yeah, but for Jake Gardner, isn't his lowest of the low.
If this is not just a big injury, you have 2 games before the All-Star break.
You're talking about the same guy who, after that Game 7 blunder, went straight to the media and didn't hide. There's no way Jake Gardner would have sat out.
I'm not saying Jake Gardner said to sit out. I don't know what happened. Who else knows?
So then what are you trying to say?
Well, you know how the whole Leafs were trying to back up Jake Gardner and say that he's a great big... Yeah, okay, maybe they did it for his sake. Maybe Babcock's like, you know what, buddy, just take this one and hey, it's game 1 of 82. It doesn't matter.
You want to have your best players out there no matter what. I actually think it was back spasms. I don't think Babcock made him sit out because he was nervous or like.
Then if Jake Gardner plays tonight against Washington, what do you think?
We had what? Since Sunday off, so that's 3 days off. Yeah, I don't see a problem with that. I don't see why Babcock would sit him just because he doesn't want his own player to get booed.
It's something to look into because he hasn't been injured at all, and the game right after he gets booed.
I don't think.
And he plays 2 road games, looks fine out there, and then he comes home and instantly he's got back spasms and can't play at home.
I don't know. I don't think you look into it that much. Now
it's not like he left the game in Florida.
Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead.
Montreal fans boo the Habs all the time. Right. I get we're too different, but I can't remember the last time the Leafs booed a player. Maybe Dion. Maybe
Brian McCabe. But you didn't boo him like when he touched the puck.
But this is new for us. This is new for Toronto. Montreal boos the Habs every night if they're doing bad, right? So I get that it was a shitty thing to do. Excuse my language, but it was.
It's true.
But I think we're looking too much into it. And if a player isn't performing up to his expectations, give it to him a little bit. But the Tampa game, I understand that was a bit much.
It's on the road, too.
It's on the road, yes, and it's a bit much. And maybe those guys that were booing Jake Gardner in the Tampa game and in the, what game was it? The Avs game. Maybe they're looking back and saying, well, you know what? What we did was pretty shitty. Maybe they're having remorse.
Well, you'd think that after the first game, wouldn't you? After the first game,
I don't know if it was the same fans. Let's just say, but a fan base in general, I know. But we're facing Washington on the road, right?
No, we're home.
We're home. So this is going to be a.
If Jake Gardner plays tonight and he's getting booed, I honestly, for his sake, I want him gone.
Well, I know
because he's not going to be playing any better when people are booing him when he touches the puck.
Yeah, and I don't want Jake Gardner to play timid because that wouldn't be Jake Gardner.
No, it wouldn't be.
And
then people will get mad at him because he's not getting many points. Then if he's being timid, then
yeah. So with Jake Gardner, when he's on, he's on. We all know this, but when he's off, he screws up mightily bad.
Right,
very, very bad.
And do we forget to mention that he was a 50-point defenseman last year?
Well. And he wasn't playing with anyone with his caliber for his whole career.
Exactly.
Like I mentioned in the last podcast, Zaitsev, Carrick, Ryan O'Byrne, Tim Gleason. I think he played with Phaneuf for a little bit. He hasn't got anybody really to work with. Personally, I think that you should try him with Dermott.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, he's 2 left-handed defensemen, but Dermott has played on the right in his AHL career.
We know Matt Babcock isn't going to bring down Ron Hainsey from the first pairing.
And he's not going to move Zaitsev and Gardner because clearly that's not going to happen. And it baffles me that he's not doing anything about it.
I think that is more apparent than sending Ron Hainsey to the second pairing. I think it's more likely, right?
Oh, yeah, I wish that was true.
But, yeah, well, like I said, give him a new defense partner and a better one than Zaitsev, which isn't really hard. And you might show that, okay, this guy, there's maybe something to work with here, right? As Leaf fans, if we didn't have Jake Gardner, and we said this in the last podcast, where would this team be?
Oh, yeah.
Where would this team be? You know how deadly this guy is on a power play. You know how he can hold the line so well. So, I mean, it's like you said before, it's sickening, but other teams do this all the time.
Oh, yeah.
You look at soccer teams, for example, like European soccer teams. Their fans do that all the time to their own players. All the time, right? I get it's a different culture. I understand that. But, I mean, it is what it is. It's a shitty thing to do. But I think Leaf fans really have to... and I also saw that since Jake Gardner was out with back spasms, people are actually cheering. Yeah, thank gosh. Really? He is our second best defenseman.
Where are people booing, some guys who actually aren't playing well?
Well...
Where's people booing Zaitsev? Huh? Because he's the guy that we're talking about is going to be gone by July 1st.
And he was signed to that massive deal.
Exactly.
Because he doesn't screw up royally.
He does quite often. He doesn't do anything.
I think there was one time where Zaitsev screwed up royally, and that was in the playoffs on the 2-on-1. He did that slap thing. And
did anybody talk about it?
Well, yes, we did at the time.
We did. But no. Did everybody talk about it?
No. For sure. It was a 2-on-1, and it was in the playoffs. Of course people were talking about it, 100%.
And then Jake Gardner's -5. I think Leaf fans still can't get over that, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and... Yeah, I mean, it's It's sickening, but we have to get over it. And we're looking. Do you want to go to the Florida game, or do you want to?
They looked awful. The Leafs literally looked like, and I said it in the video.
It was a snooze fest.
They, I like to say it this way. They literally looked like they were on the second night of a back-to-back. I know they were, but they literally looked like it.
Yeah.
They actually looked like they had no go. They had nothing going for them. They got murdered in the game. The only go was a Ron Hainsey point shot. And by the way, Garrett Sparks, you know what? I don't blame him at all. He didn't have a bad game at all.
And then obviously that game against Arizona, much of the same. Couldn't get anything going. 2 greasy goals by the Leafs. One, I think,
Dermott floater from the point, and John Tavares right off the face-off.
Yeah. We're not performing, but see, I think it's the defense in the forwards, and that being said, with the forwards, you wanted to get into something about William Nylander.
Yeah. Look, I'm so sick and tired of Leaf fans, game by game, ripping on William Nylander. In that Arizona game, how did Travis Dermott score that goal? Well, William Nylander got the turnover at the blue line and did a little chip pass across the blue line to Travis Dermott. And he floated it on and went in the back of the net. So William Nylander got a big play on that goal. And yeah, is it only his 4th point in 20 games? Exactly. I get it. But if you physically watch the games and you look for guys that actually stand out on the ice, William Nylander is standing out more than Austin Matthews right now. And I don't care what anybody says. Okay. If you watch the game, you can't. I'm not lying. So.
Oh no, I'm not either. But I'm not here to sit and babysit him.
I'm not either.
Like we've been doing since he came back a month ago, or probably longer than that. Actually, no, exactly a month. Didn't he come back Christmas? Or no, it was July 1st.
Sorry,
about a
July
month.
1st. Fucking. December 1st. It was the deadline to get him signed, right? So he
about
signed.
A month and a half. The guys played 20-odd games. 20 games?
20 games.
20 games. 4 points. I'm not going to lie. I'm frustrated because sure he's looked apparently what you're seeing, which I don't really agree with, the best player on the ice.
At times, I said. At times he's looking like amazing out there and he's flying and like...
At times he is, but we've gave him the benefit of the doubt, and we said, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, if he isn't performing like he signed to and like he was in the 2 previous seasons he was on our team, by the All-Star break, we'd be concerned. The All-Star break, this is the last game. Tonight is the last game before the All-Star break. So, after the All-Star break, if he's still pulling these shenanigans, I'm concerned.
The reason I was going to be concerned about it is because I look at... I wanted to see him on the ice. And does he look slow? Does he look out of place? I don't think he does. I mean, you watch him out there. He doesn't look out of place. The puck's just not going in. Yeah. And it's not just him the puck's not going in for. We knew William Nylander was, for the most part, a pass-first kind of guy. You know, he wouldn't put up a 40-50 goal season, but he'll put up 20 and give you like 40-50 assists. You know, maybe 25 goals. Nobody else in his lines are scoring. And you can't just blame him.
You can't blame him, but a player that is signed to almost $7 million, you expect him to be one of the best players on his line. Am I not right?
Yeah, but he looks good. And you look at Austin Matthews. He has been downright awful since, December 22nd against the Rangers. He has 1 goal since then.
Yeah.
A month.
He's looked suspect. He hasn't looked good, right? But we know what Austin Matthews can do, and during this season, he hasn't done it this season though. I get he's only played a small sample size. Matthews was doing it prior to this slump in this season. Nylander, yes, he was out the first couple months.
If Nylander catches hot at some point, everyone's going to be like, "Oh, I'm so happy we have William Nylander."
Oh no, I will be too. But I think you can even admit it. You would have expected him to get hot 5-10 games ago.
I don't know. I honestly have no idea. I don't know what it's like to miss training camp, to miss preseason, to miss 20-odd games of the season.
No, it's hard.
You go. I talked to you before about this. You go back to the Johnny Gaudreau contract dispute that they had back when he was a restricted free agent, like William Nylander was, right? You looked at that, and he didn't have that type of prototypical season you once knew with Johnny Gaudreau that year. Where are we here? I think it was this game in 16-17, I think it was. 61 points in 72 games. That's really good, but that's not Johnny Gaudreau-esque because he missed 5 games in the regular season.
Right.
Actually, technically, he missed, 10 games, I guess, because he only played 72, but he might have been injured one way. Anyways, might have missed one during the season. But he wasn't out for long. He wasn't even out for 2 weeks, 3 weeks of the regular season. Willie, and he still didn't do all that well. He was 11 games over a point per game, which clearly, you look at his 2 seasons afterwards, are not even close.
We know that maybe, this year might be a wash for Nylander. I'm not saying he's going to be terrible.
I'm not saying a wash,
I know next year, if he starts, like you say, start training camp on time, because he is going to start training camp on time, he's going to look good. But this season, I'm concerned about this season, not the player.
Okay.
Not the player, but this season, I'm concerned. Because it's so hard to get your mojo going if really nothing's working. Mind you, the team isn't doing good, but, I mean, you're being paid all that money. I know I was with you for the longest time, but now is the time to shine. When everyone's slumping, right? If Matthews is slumping, now is the time for you to step up.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but Babcock recently put him on the 4th line. I don't think that would do much. Well, he got an assist, so maybe. But, I mean, I'm done babying him. I know we both said that the All-Star break, if not, we're concerned about this season. I don't know if we said the player of this season, but whatever.
For me, I do agree with you in the sense of this year, because we're in this season, and he does only have 4 points in 20 games.
Halfway done.
However, I do watch him, and he has gotten better. That's why I'm not worried about him. Because I know at some point in this year, whether it takes him another 10 games or not, this guy will catch fire.
I thought,
and I don't care. Look, if he ends up getting me a 30-point year out of this, fine. Because he will have 30 in, 60? And yet he missed 2 months of the season?
And he'll probably have 30 and 40 next year, right?
Yeah, exactly. And people are going to be real quiet about that contract.
Next season is going to be the real test because he has no excuses like Zaitsev, right? Yep. But this is the same thing we said about Zaitsev, about how he missed a bunch of games last year. He had a 30-point year, so to speak. I'm not really comparing both players here, but I'm comparing the situation. Zaitsev was Hearts last year for what? 20, almost 30 games last year, I think. And we said, okay, Zaitsev, no more excuses this year. No more excuses. And look how he is now. Mind you, this is an undrafted KHL All-Star compared to a guy we drafted in the first round, 8th overall. Yep. A little different, but you can kind of see where I'm going with it, right? Because in the past, Zaitsev has performed, like you said, in his rookie year, scored 30, 35 points.
Yep.
So, yeah. I mean, I'm
not as worried about Nylander as I was Zaitsev because the talent-wise is quite a bit different.
Well, now we know it is, but Zaitsev's rookie year, we thought this guy was going to be...
Well, yeah, and I mean, you never know what you're going to get with Zaitsev, but like obviously with one great year, that's great. But Nylander's done this the last 2.5 seasons.
Well, 2 seasons.
Well, 2 and a bit, because he played that like half year that he came up from the Marlies with Connor Brown and guys like that. And he did pretty damn well.
He has. Yeah, he has definitely more upside than Zaitsev, even when Zaitsev was at his best. But
you watch Nylander and you watch Zaitsev. Nylander is the mile better player, as we all know.
I know, but I'm comparing situations.
Situations-wise, yes, I do agree.
Both players missed a bunch of time.
I do believe that William Nylander, by the end of the year, will find himself and will find the groove. And that's why I'm not worried about him. Because I think people are going to say, well, since he's come back, they've been terrible. Yeah, well, okay, but the whole team's been terrible.
I think
you can't blame one guy.
Next season, he's going to find his groove. I don't know so much about this year anymore. I don't know. I mean, he might.
There's still 30-odd games to go.
I know, but like you said, the whole team isn't playing well. He's going to find his touch, but he's not going to be extremely red hot like people are saying, like yourself. I think he's going to get red hot next season, start of the season, maybe 10 games in, because he's going to have training camp. He's going to be preseason. He's going to be doing all these things, right? Practicing with the team more. So I think next season he's going to be a star. This season, he's going to find his touch, but not to the expectations.
I'm just really hoping that he, like tonight, he gives me a goal or like even another assist or something, just so people can quiet down a little bit.
He's played 20 games, and the Leafs have how many games left? Well, how many games does he have left?
Well, the team,
if he stays healthy,
the team has played 48, so they have 34 left.
Okay, so in 54 games, how many points would you be okay with for him?
35.
Yeah, in the 30. I mean, okay,
anything in the 30s, I think. Would be
expectations.
25, 30.
But you would be happy with
30 plus.
Yeah, me too. I think for me right now, he's, like you say, 25, 30, how he's performing right now, But it would be great if he, like he says, gets
30 plus.
Yeah. We know what he can be, and I'm not like a bunch of Leaf fans saying, oh, trade him this, trade him that.
Yeah, it's a joke.
It's tempting, I'm not going to lie, because we know what this team needs, and we know who's not performing to his contract,
Yeah,
but
you know
just wait.
You know if you trade him, and you trade him for a defenseman, that defenseman doesn't work out the way you want, and then Nylander gets a 70, 80 point years the rest of his career, everyone's going to call Kyle Dubas an idiot, and then I don't want to hear it again.
No. So we have one more game, and that's Washington. Both teams struggling. Washington losers of, I think, 5 or 6.
6 straight. They just lost yesterday in overtime at home to San Jose.
Oh.
They were up 6-4 in the third, and they blew it. So, and Phoenix Copley is the starter there tonight against the Leafs.
Oh,
really? On the back-to-back, Holtby played. I think Holtby played last night.
Well, he obviously did. I'm both struggling teams. The Leafs got to win this. They got to get a win under their belt before the All-Star break.
Agreed. And both teams do. That's the part where we're in like, wow, both teams need a win. They've lost 6 straight. We've lost 2 straight.
You're playing at home, and if I hear any boos from Jake Gardiner, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to have a lot less respect for this fan base. Now,
if he plays.
Speaking of losing respect for fan bases, let's move to the Edmonton Oilers.
There's a few things we want to talk about. Dude, did you not hear the news about Austin Matthews' contract moving quite along with Kyle Dubas?
Ooh, sorry, I got a little bit too antsy on the Oilers.
Chris Johnson tweets out, Kyle Dubas says, and this is like, not quote, but it's a tweet from him saying that Kyle Dubas said this, that the Leafs have made progress on an extension for Austin Matthews. Ideally, he'd like to get it done ASAP for long-term clarity before the trade deadline.
Wow.
For long-term clarity, as they aren't negotiating with Mitch Marner as the agent requested. Kyle Dubas was very clear he's not pursuing either Matthews or Marner to sign quickly. It's just his preference. And this is a quote from Dubas. Yes, it would be selfishly for me to... Okay, whatever. That didn't make any sense. Nice job, Chris Johnson. Anyways.
Bottom line...
But for the players, I think they have to make sure they're fully comfortable in going into any arrangement.
Bottom line is... Lock him up. Good. Lock him up.
So all that
lock him up.
All that garbage about the Arizona Coyotes giving him that crazy deal in the offseason and matching an offer and all that garbage will be thrown out the window.
Yeah. I mean, I can't see a better time to lock him up right now. Lock him up for 12, 13 mil, whatever it has to be done. Get it done. 9 years, well, 7, 8 years, I guess.
Yeah.
Is the max. But yeah, lock him up long term. Enough said. I'm glad that they're actually going with contract talks now and not waiting like Mitch Marner's waiting to the offseason, and that's going to be fun, ladies and gentlemen.
It is, because if you get Matthews signed and you get Nylander signed, what the heck is Marner going to want?
I would have want Marner signed first than Matthews, but whatever.
I don't think it really matters. The last couple things I want to quickly touch on is Tyler Ennis is week to week with his injury, so he is getting better. And you saw the impact that guy made on this team when he wasn't healthy. I thought he was a great player out there. He's
Trevor Moore, like you said.
Well, he's getting
good.
Called up in the absence of Andreas Janssen, who
concussion
in the last game got a concussion.
Weird hit.
So there's the little injury update for the Leafs. That's about all we wanted to touch on.
Well, like I've been saying, I've been waiting for this. Have you been waiting for this, James?
Waiting for what?
The Edmonton Oilers and their firing of Peter Chiarelli.
Ah, yes.
Hallelujah. This has to be Christmas morning for Edmonton Oiler fans and for us, because we love ripping on the Oilers, right? As Leaf fans. But prior to his firing, there's been some weird moves.
Well,
moves.
So I think, if I'm not mistaken here, at least until December 1st, I have all the trades and signings that he had.
Keep it. Okay. Keep that. Okay. Now, before Peter Chiarelli was fired, which was last night around like 1 a.m. or 2 a.m., something like that, he waived Ty Ratty, preseason All-Star. I think, didn't he have like 6 goals in like 4 games in the preseason? It was ridiculous, Ty Ratty.
Like that,
yeah. And waiving Ryan Spooner, which means he traded away Jordan Eberle for nothing. Because if you don't know, I don't know how you don't know, you traded away Eberle to the Islanders for Ryan Strome. And then you trade Ryan Strome to the Rangers for Ryan Spooner. And then you waive Ryan Spooner. So you traded Eberle for nothing. Good job, Chiarelli. And then you go out and you sign a goalie that hasn't been proven himself at all.
All right, let's just calm down. I want to get to all the signings from
I'm just talking about this before he
Okay, well, I'm just trying to say that there's a list here of signings that I look at and go, oh my God.
I know. Okay, with Koskinen, signed him to a $4.5 million cap hit for 3 years. Ladies and gentlemen, this is only $500,000 less than Freddie Anderson for a guy who's not been bad, but his home record, I think he's got like a 9/11 save percentage, not bad, but his away or his road record is like an 8-something.
Why would you give this guy $4.5 million for season for 3 years?
Now you can go with all the signings.
Okay, so in 2015, he signed Andrej Sekera to a 6-year deal with a cap hit of $5.5 per year. Andrej Sekera has been nowhere to be found, obviously with injury and everything, surgery, but there's 5.5 right there. Where are we here? Milan Lucic. We all know about that. And at the time, it didn't look too terrible because he was great with Boston and everything. But they signed him to a 7-year deal at $6 million per year. Everyone is throwing parties when Lucic scores a goal now. That's a thing.
Yeah.
And so that tells you right there how that thing went. And then in October of 2016, they signed Chris Russell to a 4-year, $4 million contract.
It just keeps
after this
better.
Guy got to a pro tryout contract type of situations with teams,
really?
And then he got a 1-year deal, he got signed to in May 2016 from Edmonton. 2 years, 2-way contract at $625,000. A 2-way contract, and yet what? Not even a year later, like 5 months later, you signed him to a 4-year deal at $4 million per year. All right, and then where else we go? Let's go down the list here. Oh, we all know about. He initially signs Kostin. There he is. I know there's another one here. Oh, I guess not. But anyways,
go to the trades. Go to the trades because the trades. This is the one. This is the one
which one
where
do you want me to find here.
Just go through. Look up Peter. I got all the trades there.
Yeah. Which one do you want me to look for? There's the Ryan Strome deal.
Go to the one that's okay. So to the start, and then just go through the most important or the most disastrous ones, if you will.
Okay, this one right here. Edmonton trades Pittsburgh's first-round pick. So they got, which turned out to be Matthew Barzal, right?
Oh, that was the...
And their second-round pick, which turned out to be Mitchell Stevens, who's actually a great-looking AHL player.
For Griffin Reinhart.
Straight up.
They could have had Barzal probably on the second line center. Keep going.
They trade a second-round pick and a 7th-round pick for Cam Talbot.
They're trying to get rid of him now, so that's a loss.
There you go. They traded a 4th-round pick at some random guy for Eric Gryba. Clearly that didn't work. There goes your 4th.
He's gone.
Edmonton trades Boyd Gordon for Lauri Korpikoski. That really went well.
I said the main ones.
I know. I'm just trying to find all of them here. They traded away Justin Schultz for a 3rd-round pick.
And look at that.
Other than Justin Schultz not having a great being injured this season, but I mean, what he did last year for them, and what he did on Stanley Cup run for the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Where's the Jeff Petrie? Remember him? Doing amazing with Montreal now.
Was it a trade or was it
just yes, it was a trade. I don't know if it was Chiarelli.
It might not have been.
I don't think it was Chiarelli. But mind you, Edmonton did have Jeff Petrie, and they traded him away, I think, for a 2nd and a 3rd, and he's doing wonders with Montreal. And then obviously the infamous Taylor Hall for Adam Larson, 1-for-1.
Still don't believe that actually happened.
No. I was looking on Instagram here, and they showed a pretty interesting picture on, shout out to TSN. Here, let me just get this up quickly. It was if Chiarelli never made a move, and it would look like on the first line, you would have Eberle, McDavid, and Taylor Hall.
It's pretty damn good if you ask me.
Second line, Barzal, the Nuge, and Jesse Puljujarvi.
Not bad at all.
Third line, this is your third line center, ladies and gentlemen. Leon Draisaitl, Benoit Pouliot, and Yamamoto.
Not bad.
It's not bad. And then their fourth line, it would be
Tyler Benson,
Jujhar Khaira, and then Neil Yakupov. In your defense core, Nurison, Bouchard, Ethan Bear, and C. Jones, Clefbaum, and Davison. And then your backups would be Boissoit and Skinner. I don't know why you wouldn't throw Cam Talbot in there, but whatever.
He didn't make a move, though.
He didn't make a move, right? Yeah, okay. Right there, that's
everything.
World's better.
Everything except for your decor and your goaltending is your forward core is nasty.
Oh, it's when you have Leon Draisaitl.
And then they trade Eberle for Strome, and then Strome for Spooner, and then they waive Ryan Strome. That's terrible, man.
Oh,
that is terrible.
Jordan.
That's
Eberle,
like the Leafs trading Luke Shen to the Flyers for JVR.
Jordan Eberle isn't going to be a 60-point guy anymore. He's around 45, 50 point, still a top 6 forward.
At least he's actually getting you 40, 50 points.
not
Strome is
major.
now win waived.
You know what's funny about Ryan Spooner? He's not a bad player. I remember when he was on Boston, I think he had like a 45, almost 50-point year.
Yeah.
Why not keep him? Because you're trying to make the playoffs this year. They actively said they're shopping their first-round pick for scoring. Why would you waive him?
And you still have no goaltender. It's still a problem.
Well, they supposedly have their goaltender of the future in Koskinen.
They just lost again yesterday to Detroit. They're a game under 500. They've lost 3 straight. Koskinen, where is he here? 3 goals on 27 shots. It's not great. It's under 900 save percentage. I'm sorry. Do you get $4.5 million for doing that?
No, you don't. You get something like a Carter Hutton.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Which is what? I think he got less than $3 million from Buffalo. I think it was like 2... No, I'm pretty sure it was like $3 million. But for a goalie that was originally drafted back in like 2004, played overseas for his entire career, and this is his first.
He was drafted in 2009.
Oh, 2009
in
the second round by the Islanders. Okay, played overseas for his entire career. Came over pretty well first year with the Oilers, but Cam Talbot was great in his second year with the Oilers. First year. I mean, this is set up for disaster.
It already is. I'm shocked that the organization let it get to this point. I mean, my God, you look at Koskinen or what? How do you pronounce
Good South African kid.
Yeah. His last 3 games, he's given up 3 goals on 27 shots, 3 goals on 18 shots, and 5 goals on 34 shots. All 3 losses, all 3 at home.
It doesn't make any sense for a goalie of his caliber. Yes, he's been okay this year. I'm not saying he's a bum. He's not a bum.
But he's not worth $4.5 million.
No.
Like you already said earlier on about Frederik Andersen getting just about the same amount of money, and he's earlier in the year he was talks for Vezina.
Yeah.
And the Leafs have made the playoffs the last 2 years. I can't believe that. When I saw this, I'm like, are you kidding me?
Well, this is a step in the right direction for
really?
Edmonton. No,
for firing Chiarelli. Yes,
firing Chiarelli. Personally, I think this has to be one of the worst GMs in history.
So yeah, and go back to his Boston days. Weren't people all like, "Oh, he was a great GM for Boston and all that"?
He wasn't bad, other than the Sagan trade. He wasn't bad. I don't know who he traded for, but Boston fans said that he wasn't bad.
Yeah, but I mean, look, Boston's still doing well, and the Oilers suck. They have Connor McDavid, and they suck.
Yeah, I feel so bad for him.
Leon Draisaitl.
I think that has to be the best captain in the league, Connor McDavid. You're playing with a scrub team. You have, 2 or 3 players on your team that are good? Like, other than Draisaitl, who do they have? Exactly. Right? I feel so bad for him because look at the talent. You're going to waste his talent, Edmonton. You're going to waste it.
I'm trying to find someone to... Nugent Hopkins? How's he doing this year? 46, but he's actually doing pretty well this year.
Okay.
How's Puljujarvi doing since being called up? 9 points in 39 games. Nothing crazy.
But you shouldn't give up on Jesse Puljujarvi right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why they sent down Spooner.
Other than Adam Larson, who do they have in their D? Okay, and Darnell Nurse. Matt Benning, Kevin Gravel, Oscar Klefbom, who is hurt.
Again.
Yes, again. He's returning after the break. Brandon Manning, Alex Petrovic,
and Chris
Russell and Andre
Sekera.
I mean, 3 weeks ago he was ruled out another 4 weeks. So I mean,
he may be coming back soon.
He'll turn into Chris Pronger soon enough.
There you go, Edmonton. Okay, so enough with the Oilers. But I mean, every podcast it's something new. We're gonna switch to basketball and the Kawhi Leonard list for the past 3 games or 2, 3. Raptors have been doing well.
They've been doing great. You face 3 teams you should beat. You don't have Kawhi Leonard. And you win all 3. That's beautiful. Now, let's where we talked last Thursday. So let's go back to last Thursday where they actually started this 3-game win streak. We talked about that Celtics loss, and the Raptors barely, and I mean barely, beat the Phoenix Suns.
This was at home too.
Yeah. Pascal Siakam with the buzzer beater layup. He was great. And this game, we saw a little bit of CJ Miles coming out. Now, ideally, I mean, I know it doesn't mean anything. He was 5 of 7 shooting, 13 points on 3 of 5 from 3. You don't really want to look in too much when it's 1 game. However, now it's 3 straight games.
Is this the sharpshooter we've been talking about?
Is this the guy that the Raptors signed? Where did he come from? Nowhere.
I'm not sold on him.
I'm not either, but
he's
I'm saying...
streaky, and with the trade deadline looming, I still think we need a sharpshooter. I don't care how good CJ Miles is doing. He's not going to be performing up to expectations. Now he is, but is he going to keep this up? Probably not.
We're going to have to wait and see. I mean, you could arguably say it's a big test in tonight's game against Indiana, his former team in Indiana. Can he do it?
Is Corey Joseph still on Indiana?
Yep, he is. So they barely hang on to win that game against the Phoenix Suns. They don't shoot the ball well from three. Again, seven made threes. But something I want to talk about, and I said it in the video last night, 3-point shots are contagious for this team.
Yeah.
Because in that game against Phoenix, they couldn't shoot the three. They were terrible. They couldn't make a three, and they barely hung on to get that victory. Mm-hmm. Like I said, it took a buzzer beater shot from Pascal Siakam. In that game against the Memphis Grizzlies, where the Raptors absolutely dominated the entirety of the game and won 119-90, Danny Green made 8 threes and ties his career high.
He had 24.7 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and his shooting percentage was
8 of 13.
Pretty good.
That's damn good.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why I wanted to bring that up, for one, Danny Green alone made more threes than the Raptors did as a team in the previous game. And the reason I want to bring that up is because after that, he went 8 of 12. Van Vliet went 1 of 4. Lowry 1 of 4. But then DeLon Wright made 1 of 2. Powell made 2. Miles made 2. A little bit of sprinkled in there with a ton of threes from this team.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying it's going to be a consistent thing, but the Raptors did make 17 threes as a team in that game. It got contagious. You look at that, and they crushed Memphis. 2 days off. Take on Sacramento tonight. Yesterday. And CJ Miles, red hot from 3. The team, red hot from 3. The Raptors were 16 of 40 from 3, which is 40%.
Hey,
and you look at Danny Green, he was 2 of 6. Siakam 1 of 4. Van Vliet was 3 of 6. Lowry was 4 of 9. Great to see him shoot the 3 better. DeLon made 1. Powell made 1. And CJ Miles again. He was 4 of 5 from 3.
It's funny. I'm trying to look at sharpshooters the Raptors should get, but they're all showing me like Larry Bird and Steve Nash.
Okay, well, I don't think the Raptors can take him out of retirement, I don't think.
No. But with that being said, this team needs shooters. And if we have CJ Miles performing like he is and another guy that can do the same,
oh boy. Look out.
Deadly. Are you mad? I mean, I wouldn't say mad, but that Nick Nurse is continually resting Kawhi?
No.
Because, if we would have
It's not him, it's the medical staff.
I think it would be a different story if we would have lost these 2 of 3 games, 1 of 3, whatever. But
the thing is, we're calm. And you look at the schedule, right? You played Memphis, who's a team who's down and out, who's now come out and said they're going to trade Gasol and Conley. Or they're at least going to try to.
Yeah, I saw that.
And you look at Phoenix... And, yeah, they're great. They have some good-looking young players, but they're not... You should beat them.
Are they... have they won 10 games yet?
No, I think they've won 9.
They're not even in double-digit wins.
Oh, they're 11. Sorry, 11 for 38.
Sorry.
But those two teams...
Sacramento
was a game over 500 coming in today, but they didn't have De'Aaron Fox.
Right, so they didn't have their young guy.
So you think about those 3 games, and ideally you can't say that De'Aaron Fox, is going to be... You can't tell in advance if he's going to play or not. But you look at those 3 games... And you look at, the Raptors can beat Phoenix without Kawhi. And they did. Barely, but they did. Memphis, the Raptors should have cakewalked them. They did. And yesterday against Sacramento, you got to beat Sacramento at home, even without Kawhi. And the Raptors did.
Yeah.
Now tonight, without Kawhi, you're in Indiana. It's going to be a different story.
Yes, it is. Why is he resting against Indiana?
I think it's because it's just a back-to-back situation. I think they're trying to...
It doesn't matter. He wasn't playing.
They're trying to give him an extended rest before the break. So then he can have that, and then you go into the final stretch, and I think probably play almost every game, if not every game, the rest of the way.
Yeah.
Now, he's going to come back Friday against the Houston Rockets. They've already come out and said that.
Okay.
And I don't know what... I think the All-Star break is at the 17th or 18th of February.
Okay.
But, they play Indiana tonight, and it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Without Kawhi.
I wanted to talk about a player, Pascal Siakam. Now, do you remember in 2000, I think it was 14, we drafted Bruno Caboclo.
Okay.
Was raw talent, only started playing basketball at a young age, and he was looked at as a freak. Long wingspan, I think, almost an 8-foot wingspan, something like
crazy.
that. didn't, well, other than his debut, didn't live up to expectations.
At all. And now he's
At
bounced
all.
around the G League now. But
So he's in the G League, right. Pascal Siakam, same thing. Raw talent coming out of, I don't even know where he played. Was this international?
New Mexico State.
New Mexico State. Only started playing basketball at an older age.
Yep.
He's looked great. Is he, now, this is a pretty hot take. Is he the next Giannis Antetokounmpo?
I don't know.
He's still 24. He's still 24, and if Kawhi Leonard does not re-sign with this team, this is your franchise guy.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Watching this guy run the floor, like you think about what Giannis does.
It's a spitting image.
On the floor, he's fantastic. Running the floor, he's incredible.
Yeah.
In the post, Siakam is an amazing player inside and amazing getting inside. What is Antetokounmpo so good at? That. Now, Antetokounmpo does have a better shot, I'd say, this in Siakam.
That comes with age.
But I'm just saying, I do see a little bit of Giannis in Pascal Siakam. I don't think he's as long, but because obviously the Greek freak is an absolute freak. But
how old's Giannis? Look that up quickly.
Well, Pascal's 24.
Pascal's 24. He was drafted 2 years ago in 2016. Giannis has to be like 26, maybe?
I don't think he's even that, to be honest with you. He's 24 as well.
But he was drafted as a sophomore.
15th overall and...
Sophomore.
Right.
Yeah. This guy was a late first rounder, and guys...
we drafted Jakob Poeltl 10th and this guy in the 20s.
If we're talking about potential trade options for the Raptors, this guy should be no. This guy's untouchable.
I think that's the point where when we heard about Bradley Beal getting moved to the Raptors, it was our first round pick in like 2021 or whatever the hell it is, and you heard Pascal and OG.
No,
and that's why I'm like, no, that's ridiculous.
We're back on the Bradley Beal trade, but if you were to get a player, I'm not saying Bradley Beal, but if you were to get another superstar player, which we kind of need,
who would you look for?
You would look for a shooting guard.
But who's the team? Like I don't know.
Well, no, I don't know, but I'm just saying. I don't think the Raptors are going to make a huge move. I really don't. But let's just say we were. Pascal's off limits. Pascal, Lowry, and Kawhi. I think that's our new big three. I don't know.
And then you forgot about Serge Ibaka, who's always been good.
Well, I'm saying like the best three. I mean, I'm kind of going against what I said in the previous podcast, or I think maybe two podcasts ago. I don't know if we need another superstar. I don't think we do. I think we already have our three in Lowry, Siakam, and Leonard.
Do you maybe look at a guy like Terrence Ross?
You wouldn't have to give up much to get him. I mean, he's averaging 14 a game.
He's
this
shooting
is his best of his career.
38% from 3, 82% from the line. I mean,
listen, if they're willing to get DeLon Wright in a second, they wouldn't do that. But I mean, we don't have many options to give the Magic.
Right.
Exactly. You wouldn't want to give up Freddie. I mean, maybe for Terrence Ross, yeah. But
I just realized the Washington Wizards have won 2 straight and are 7-3 in their last 10 and are 2 games out of a playoff spot.
Well, that goes to Bradley Beal trade rumors.
And without John Wall, this team has been better.
Weird. Like you said, on paper, it doesn't really matter how good your team is on paper. It's how they're performing. We thought when John Wall was gone for the season, we thought the Wizards would be in the toilet. Now they're almost in a playoff spot.
Yep.
Right? So, I mean, this is a crucial stretch because we're over halfway done, I think.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. And it's just a matter of we are going to get home court in the first round.
Yep.
I love how I'm talking playoffs. But
it's interesting because the top 5 teams, Boston, Philly, Indiana, Toronto, and Milwaukee.
Why are we still in second?
Because Milwaukee's played less games than us, and they've won less loss.
But we've got 2 more wins.
And 1 less loss and less games played.
I guess. But we're looking at either a 1 or 2 finish, because Indiana, they're what?
Raptors,
how many games back?
The 3.5.
Yeah, they're
3.5 back by the Toronto Raptors, and you win tonight, it's 4.5. So
that'll be a greasy first round matchup. Indiana versus the Brooklyn Nets.
And if the playoffs started today, the Raptors would be playing the Miami Heat.
A scrappy team.
Well, all those teams at the bottom except for Charlotte.
Would you rather play Brooklyn?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. They've won 4 straight, has Brooklyn. They're now 2 games over 500. Now, the Celtics have won 4 straight, so they've kind of found their edge a little bit more.
The real reason I can't see the Raptors doing much this trade deadline, this team is so new. Brand new coach, brand new superstar. No way. No, there isn't going to be a significant move. You might get a depth guy, not like that McClaw guy we got, someone who can actually perform. But even giving up a second, I don't think we're going to get rid of our roster players.
Well, I mean,
think so.
I think if only the trade, only if it's right, you gotta. I don't know. Honestly, I'm not sure.
Me neither. But I can't see it happening.
Yeah,
because like you said, we have not seen Kawhi Leonard in the playoffs, and I'm stoked. I'm so excited. I want Boston. I want him. I want them. I want that leprechaun.
Anyways, like we said, the Raptors play Indiana there tonight in Indiana. They also go on the road to take on Houston on Friday. The Raptors have a tough stretch coming up, and obviously with Indiana tonight, Houston on Friday.
Yeah.
Dallas at home, Dallas on the road, and Dallas has been a scrappy team, especially on home court for them.
Future rookie of the year?
You should. I think there's no question about it.
Yeah.
Doncic should win that, and then you come. I think it's back home to take on Milwaukee at home. Then you got Clippers at home, who are in the playoff spot right now. Philly on the road, and it gets really tricky from there. So it's until about the beginning of February, things get a real tricky for the Toronto Raptors. And it's something I wanted to bring up here. Dennis Smith Jr. of the Dallas Mavericks.
I saw that.
I mean, he's been a great-looking young player for them, but Doncic is there. And it says here, Smith and Mavs are ready to move forward. So where do you think a destination for him? I don't know. I mean, I don't even know. You hear all about Luka Doncic, but you don't hear a lot about.
And they drafted
Dennis
this guy
Smith.
high. They drafted him ninth, but they drafted him high, and he's still 21. I think this is his sophomore year in the NBA.
He's averaging almost 13 points a game, almost 4 assists, and almost 3 rebounds. I mean, he's
a sophomore, right?
Yeah, he played last year too.
I don't even know.
21 years old. I mean, Doncic is great too, but
Doncic is amazing.
He's having an amazing rookie season. Percentages are fairly low, but he's averaging just a shade under 20 a game.
I don't know.
He's averaging 5.3 assists and 6.8 rebounds a game for a point guard.
If I was the Dallas Mavericks, you're on a rebuild. Why not keep all these young players?
Well, it depends. Look,
you get Doncic
if they get a spot that they need, like if they get because forward-wise, who do they have? They have Mini Giannis. They have Harrison Barnes, who apparently they're trying to get him out of there as well because he's been terrible, hasn't he? Oh, no. But he's shooting only 41%, which is downright awful. Yeah. Dirk's getting old, but they really don't have anything else.
Yeah, so they have no forwards, so why not keep Dennis Smith Jr.?
Trade him for a forward. So you run into that. Well, look, whether they make a move or not.
I think if it's an attitude issue, you kind of have to trade him. If this guy wants to be the guy, I'm sorry, it's not going to happen because you have Luka Doncic on your team. I don't know. I think that the Dallas Mavericks should keep Dennis Smith Jr.
Also, Anthony Davis, injured again. Heads of a hand specialist could miss up to 2 to 4 weeks.
It's not major, but it's another setback in his career because the dude's always injured, it seems like.
Now, do you want to bring up at all the Grizzlies getting rid of Conley and Marc Gasol?
Before you do that,
all-out tank?
Jesus, that was loud.
Yeah.
Say it again.
All-out tank.
Let's talk about Melo quickly before that. The Rockets decided to part ways and trade him to the Bulls and then the Bulls waived him. We've had this conversation before Melo signed with the Rockets. What team should he be on? Personally, he's not going to make any team better.
No.
The only team I could see him going to is the Lakers because they need another superstar. But
he's not a superstar anymore. Sorry.
No, but a prior superstar. No, he's not a superstar right now. Personally, he's 34 years of age. I'm pretty sure he's around there. 33, 34.
Something like that, no.
It's sad because he had so much talent. I think the dude should just retire.
Well, we thought he should have retired last year.
No, last year I didn't think he should retire. I think he needs one more year with a fresh team. No OKC, no Knicks, right? He needs to be with a fresh start, and that was the Houston Rockets of all team, and
it didn't work.
Didn't work out, and I don't think it's going to work out with the Lakers.
No, it really won't.
I mean, do you want to go into the Conley stuff? You're already on Blue Jays.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, honestly, like, obviously the Memphis Grizzlies tried one last hoorah this year with Mike. They were
good at one point.
Yeah, with Mike Conley and Marc Gasol, they had a great start to the season, but they have drifted and fallen hard lately. They have a great-looking young player in Jaren Jackson Jr. However, they need to rebuild, so they're looking to part ways with Mike Conley's huge contract.
I was just going to say that. Good luck getting off that contract.
Well, and Marc Gasol you're trying to trade as well.
I don't think his contract's really a burden at Marc Gasol, but he's getting up there. What team's going to want him?
Yeah, so you run into that question. You run into that big question of what will Marc Gasol really do to impact your team, and is Mike Conley really worth that money?
The mighty has fallen. Not really. I think this team's similar to the Rangers of the NHL. They make the playoffs. They don't really make much noise, but they always make the playoffs. But obviously now they're So moving to the Blue Jays, you wanted to get into. I'll let you take the floor because we got to shout out one specific guy, right? So go ahead.
Roy Halladay. Now we all obviously with his passing, a couple years ago now, or a year and a half ago, or whatever it was. He's obviously one of the, if not the greatest pitcher in Jays history. We could argue about Dave Steve and all those guys, but Roy Halladay, in my era at least, in our era, is the greatest pitcher in Jays history.
Is there anyone close?
I mean,
would you say
there are some guys that had pretty damn good seasons, but for consistency in my lifetime, Roy Halladay is by far the best pitcher I've ever seen in a Blue Jays jersey. You could say David Price, but that was for half a season, so we can't really go off of that. Watching Doc go out there like every 5 days was incredible. And he gets, ideally he's not here to take the honor, which it really does suck, but
so this
he is going to be inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame, Cooperstown in the Baseball Hall of Fame.
He's a first ballot. I don't know how this goes. Okay, so he's getting inducted.
Yep, that is.
He won't be here to see it. Obviously, rest in peace.
Yep.
The best pitcher, Blue Jay pitcher. Probably not the best player.
You could argue Carlos Delgado as well, and that can be a question for a lot of people. But at their positions, those two guys were the most dominant.
Yeah,
but
so we kind of wanted to shout him out. Obviously, you had a bunch of emotions when you did the video a year and a half ago.
Yep.
So, it's great to see, and he shouldn't have passed so soon.
You never know. Life's short. Life's too short to dwell on that stuff, right?
Wow. So getting out of the, what are you trying to do there?
Trying to find some things here. Oh my God, I have to sign into some stupid thing to check it out.
But for the Blue Jays, I mean, hey,
spring training is a month away. Less than a month away.
All right, so now move on to the podcast.
Oh, come on, jeez.
I'm joking.
Come on.
I'm joking. Come on.
I'm going to actually try and find here because the MLB just released their top 100 prospects.
I know this was a podcast question, but let's answer it now. Who do you think is the mystery team for Manny Machado? Golden State Warriors?
Why not? They're always in on everybody else, so why not?
I don't know. It gets our... I mean, I don't... Who do you think?
Well, I saw online that the Miami Marlins are a team that... I don't know why that would even be a thing.
They would probably throw a quarter of their payroll right to one player.
Probably. And they'll be like, come here.
Yeah, just come here. Come here.
I mean, but, look, with, I don't know.
That's weird. It's got to be a team that, like you said, Miami, maybe Oakland, a team that doesn't have a big payroll, but can shell out a lot of money because they don't have really any good guys.
Yeah.
So them, maybe the White Sox.
I don't know. I think the Phillies are a big team that's going to go after a guy like Manny Machado. I do believe that he'll be going there. That's my thought.
But still, it's still a mystery. It's still a mystery. We don't know. It's like reports say this from an inside source about how this player's going to get traded to this team, and then this team, and then this team.
Just smacking the damn blinds or whatever.
I hate that. It's a mystery team. Why can't you just...
So anyways, can we just not talk about the free agency right now? Because Machado, there's been really no update. We've been hearing, there's a mystery team. Oh, the White Sox made an option. It's ridiculous. So let's stick with the Blue Jays real quick. And the MLB released their top 100 prospects. And of course, topping the list is Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
He's number one?
He is number one on the MLB top 100. He, at the age on opening day, so when opening day begins this year, he is 20.
So, who's that guy from the Braves that was number one? Wasn't he number one before?
Ronald Acuna.
He was number one 2 years ago? Or a year ago?
Last year.
So,
literally what he did last year is exactly what the Blue Jays are going to do this year. They're going to wait till May and then call him up, and Vladdy's going to rip it up. Assume.
So do you think he's not going to start with the team?
No, he's not, because they want that extra year of controllability. You wait till May, and then you get that extra year.
That's good.
So it's a big thing there when it comes to that. And going on the list here, number 13 on the top 100 list, Bo Bichette. So he obviously is looking for at the age of his opening day, he'll be 21 years old. And he played Double-A last year. This is a big season for him.
This is a big season for the Blue Jays in general.
Yeah, because it's a transition year, and I'm really intrigued to see what this team has in store for all of us, I guess. Because there's a lot of question marks going into the year. Who's going to play where? How is this person going to perform? And will these young players live up to the expectations? There's all kinds of predictions that we can't control right now. We're going to have to wait and see.
So those are only 2 prospects in the top 100, correct?
I'm just trying to find here. I want to see the Blue Jays in the top 100.
Yeah. With Vladdy, we know what he can do, right? We know he can hit dingers. Yep. Right?
Yeah, we all know that.
And for him to not start this season with the Jays, I think is a great move by the organization. Is Bo going to start? I don't know. Maybe, right? But right now, who do we have at shortstop?
Gurriel Jr. And he's fantastic.
So I don't think that, if he's willing to play another position, but probably not.
Well, again, if you want to win, I think you're going to be fine with it. But look, Danny Jansen was in the 42nd spot, actually, of this list as well.
Oh, nice.
So, look, the Jays have some great-looking players, and this year is going to be fun, but it's also going to be painful.
Yeah, they're going to be, like I've been saying, they're going to do worse than last year, but they're going to be more fun to watch.
Exactly. Like they were in the month of September this past year. You had a lot of these great... the story of Rowdy Tellez when he came up and was fantastic. Exactly. And the Jays weren't winning a lot of games, but he was playing so well, and just it was so so great to see him, I guess, kind of like take the reins of that first base spot, and everyone all the expectations that were of Rowdy Tellez in previous years. Look, I'm excited to see this year. I'm excited to see what happens here. And all that kind of stuff. But I want to talk about somebody real quick here.
Okay.
The all-time league leader in home runs.
Oh, Barry Bonds, you're going there?
Yeah.
Hall of Famer.
He came up short this year.
Okay.
And I'm glad. Him and Clemens, Roger Clemens.
Yeah,
as well.
Those are the 2 guys. He passed Hank Aaron, obviously, and I don't even know why he was thinking about it. I don't know who was for him to get into the Hall of Fame. I don't know if all those home runs were because of steroids. A majority of them were.
Probably.
Right? But yeah, I think but then again, not off the top of my head, but I think there's players inducted into the Hall of Fame in other sports that were under steroids, right?
Probably.
Now back then, in the early 2000s, that's when he was really going off. They didn't do drug tests like they do now, but it still wasn't legal. Right? And so he's not going in. He's not in.
He's not in this year, at least.
Do you ever think he will be in?
Probably, but I hope not.
No, because you're not playing your cards right, and it is a sour taste in everyone's mouth if he does get in.
Yep. Same with A-Rod. Sorry.
But skill doesn't match the fact that, you still have to have skill to hit those home runs.
Agreed. But if he didn't have those roids, would he have been the all-time home run winner? We don't know. We'll never find out.
You don't know, but skill is different when it comes to that, and I think he will be up there. Listen, if he didn't take steroids, I still think he would be in the Hall of Fame.
Well, if he didn't take steroids, I think he'd be in the Hall of Fame right now instead of coming up short.
But I think he does deserve to be in the Hall of Fame because if he, like I said before, if he didn't take steroids, I think he would still be a really, really good player for the Giants. Yeah. And yeah, same thing with Clemens. Even when he was with us, right? He was good. What other team did he play for?
Yankees, wasn't it?
The Yankees. Was it the Cardinals too? I don't even know.
I'm not sure.
But same thing with him. It's he did them, right?
Yep.
He was caught with them. And I think both players are going to get in, like you say. But
one player that I am so excited to see in the Hall of Fame, and obviously Roy Halladay being one of them, Mariano Rivera, one of the, if not the most dominant closer in MLB history. This guy is unbelievable. And he didn't have a curveball. He didn't have a slider. He didn't have any of that stuff. He had 652 saves over 19 seasons. What is this?
Was it his fastball that was deadly?
In the heart of the dynasty years for the New York Yankees, anything below a 3 ERA is very good. He didn't even put up a 1. in 42 opportunities in the 5 World Series championships he was in. That is incredible.
The only reason why it took him this long is because he just recently retired.
Yeah, not too long ago, a few years ago.
Yeah, so...
But I mean, wow, look at this. So it's made history as the first unanimous inductee into the Hall of Fame, and rightfully so. He's the greatest closer of all time.
So you're telling me that Red Sox fans even would put him in?
Yeah. He's the greatest closer of all time. There's no debating that.
Who are some other names that you would say that
Eric
can match
Gagne,
that?
the Canadian, I think he had like 40-something or 50-something consecutive
Okay.
saves in a row, but I think he's in the Hall of Fame. If not, he might be there soon. But look, there are some guys, we could say Francisco Rodriguez, that was fantastic. There were some good closers, but nobody did it on a consistent basis.
Like
as
Mariano
good as
Rivera. Yeah.
This guy had the cutter. All he threw was a fastball and a cutter just moves probably about that much.
Yeah. But they were deadly.
His cutter waits and waits and waits, and right as it's about to hit the hitter, it takes a tail. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
This guy is something else.
And plus, he did it for what, 20-odd seasons?
I think he said 19 years, but yeah.
Wow.
Incredible.
Yeah, like you said, he was playing with Jeter. He was playing with that's when the Yankees were the Yankees. I mean, they still are the Yankees now, but yeah. Yeah.
A couple things I want to touch on here. Drew Pomeranz, a big acquisition by the Red Sox a couple years ago when they went for their playoff run. Clearly hasn't done anything and walks. He's heading to the Giants on a 1-year deal.
Yeah, he got his ring.
And Ichiro ain't done yet, baby. He's got to sign a minor league deal with the Mariners.
It's funny when you think he's the manager for a team, but he's actually playing.
Yeah, I mean, he looks old enough. My God.
How old is he? Go back.
He's got to be like 40-something. 45-year-old. There you go. Good for him.
He's pulling a Yager.
Ichiro is amazing. I loved Ichiro
You love some
Suzuki.
Ichiro.
Oh, yeah. The way that guy can hit the ball and run. Back in the day, he was one of the fastest guys out there.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Oh my God.
Maybe I need a bit of a water break,
Yeah,
sir.
I probably do. I will do it after. Let's get to the podcast questions.
Podcast
questions. But how many do we have? We have quite a few, or do
we have a bit? We have a bit. Oh, wow. Twitter dark? That's weird.
Yeah, right. Interesting, eh? You like that?
How'd you do that?
I don't know. I forget now, but whatever. It kind of looks kind of cool.
Okay.
All right. Michael says, "What team do you think is the mystery?" Okay, we already answered your question there, Michael. And Chatterbox reviews worry that Kawhi has rested the last 3 games in a row. Also, over or under 50% that either Stroman or Sanchez are traded after or before April 1st. Worried? No.
No. I'm not worried. I'm questioning though why he would do that, but I'm not worried.
Right. Way under 50% that either Sanchez or Stroman are traded before the deadline. I'd say 10% maybe. I would not say it's even close because we heard that Stroman could possibly be dealt. We heard that earlier in the offseason.
Yeah.
And that obviously dwindled away, and Ken Rosenthal ended up saying...
like we said before, why would we sell on someone so low now?
Exactly. And Sanchez is still young enough for me that he can have an amazing year this season, so I don't even think it's remotely close going to happen. Roderick, what will be the key for the Leafs to go back to their winning ways after the All-Star break? Score the damn goals. That's
consistency with our star players and a certain someone to live up to his contract, and that William Nylander.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
Because Mitch Marner is
Freddie Anderson to continue to play well.
He's been good though.
That's
I don't think he's the problem.
To play well.
Yeah. And maybe in off, or well, I shouldn't say off season. Maybe someone maybe right-handed defenseman.
Well, that's a question mark for Kyle Dubas to arrange, and he might try and do that after the Matthews contract gets done. But I think we're going to wrap that baby up here. We hope you guys. We really appreciate you guys. Holy smokes! What the hell just happened?
Let me say it this time.
All right, you go ahead.
We really appreciate you guys listening to the podcast every single week.
Oh, listen to that.
How did I do?
Listen to that. That was pretty good. Oh, that was pretty good. I'll give you a pass on that one. But we appreciate your guys' support. We appreciate the tweets. We appreciate the comments, the subscribers, the views, all that great stuff. We really do appreciate it, guys.
Every single week.
There you go. Way to fire that in there. And I will talk to you guys, later tonight if the Leafs and Raptors are both playing. Leafs in action against the Capitals in the final game before the All-Star break, and the Raptors in action in Indiana, taking on the Pacers, looking for their 4th straight victory, and the wins on the back-to-backs without Kawhi in both games. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens tonight with both teams, though. Big nights for both teams.
Teams.
All right, so Evan and I will really appreciate your support, and we'll talk to you guys sometime next week, probably around this time next week.
Sounds good.
And
see you then.
We'll talk to you guys then.
Peace.